Okay, there's a lot of background noise right now, and unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about it. But this is going to be the matchup for this week. We have Mega Floette and Sonora Mousehold, which is a very scary combination. Mega Kangaskhan, Mimikyu, Como Cyrilege, Bellybolt, Zoroark, Toxapex. The Mimikyu Cyrilege is also pretty scary. Como's not that threatening. Bellybolt, I'm not really scared too much of. I don't think it's going to do anything. Zoroark can obviously do Zoroark things, although I don't really think I have anything that needs to be scared of Zoroark. And then Toxapex, I think, is a wasted space on this guy's team. But let's look at what we have cooked up. So, this is probably not like the best that I could have done on calcs for the week, but work has been busy. So let's take a look at our boy Dragapult. Dragapult is going to be Phantom Force, Dragon Dirt's Light Screen, Will-O-Wisp with a Focus Sash. I only need to be 180 speed, or I need to be above 180 speed, or 179. Yeah, because Diggersby's 180. Yeah, they need to be above 179, and this needs to be 1 point faster than Diggersby. So that way I can not get hit by my own earthquake. But yeah, light screen is very important versus the Mega Floette. And Will-O-Wisp is going to be pretty good against something like his Kangaskhan. So I have two ways of dealing with his threats. And then Dragon Dart's Phantom Force is just like pretty generic. And I didn't have to be that fast. This guy's team isn't really that fast at the end of the day. So I just had to be fast enough. So we're probably going to be setting up Dragapult with Conkeldurr as our lead off, more than likely. So I can't remember the exact numbers on this, but the Roselli Berry makes it so that I never die to anything really outside of the Light of Ruin from Mega Floette, which the light screen will help prevent. But I'm hoping that if I lead off Conkeldurr, he's going to assume I go Wide Guard. I'm hoping that he knows that I have Wide Guard. Because why else would I lead off two very weak Pokemon into you? But either he leads like Floette plus Mousehold or Floette plus Incineroar. That's the two things I'm really worried about at the end of the day. There's also Mimikyu in there that I'm worried about, but it's not as big of a deal. But Conkeldurr is going to do pretty good against anything but the Cyrilege on his team. Mach Punch for priority. Like, I have Iron Fist because I'm just going to assume he's going to think I'm Guts. And he doesn't. He has like two ways he could burn me, but I really don't see him going for a burn on me. But Mach Punch and Drain Punch are going to be really good tools for dealing with this Mousehold. And then Poison Jab deals pretty good damage to the Floette, especially if Mousehold isn't paired with it. So that's going to be really, really good for me. And then we have Protect just to have Protect. But yeah, so this setup makes me pretty tanky, and then this also, like, running a fast Pokemon with slow Pokemon kind of gives me an option for like countering his Trick Room, because Conkeldurr is much slower than everything else on his team. So if he wants to set up Trick Room, that's fine, but Conkeldurr is going to be slower. And then we have good old Diggersby. Once again, really didn't need much points and speed. Well, so I didn't run Jolly. So that way I could run more offense. Make Diggersby hit even harder. Which, this guy will one-shot pretty much anything that's weak to him. Yeah, I mean, Gunk Shot's gonna one-shot the Floette. Just straight up. Through Friend Guard, it doesn't, but either way, I mean, this Diggersby is like kind of insane. So it just really can't take a hit from Floette is the only thing. With this setup, like if I have a light screen up, it's fine, but otherwise, eh. So yeah. Scizor is going to be a defensive-oriented Scizor, just so that way, like, I'm not scared of the Floette for Scizor because Floette doesn't have anything that can actually hit Scizor for too much damage. I'm really just scared of his fire types, and I want to bring Scizor just to make him think twice about bringing Floette and having to play around Floette, which puts Dragapult like in a good spot anyways with Will-O-Wisp against the Kangaskhan. But yeah, knockoff plus bullet punch is really good. Swords Dance, obviously, like this is like kind of generic. It's just I have knockoff instead of bug bite because bug bite really doesn't do anything outside of a Zoroark, and I'd have to kind of suss out a Zoroark. So, but yeah, so pretty happy with this. It doesn't hit too hard, but it's kind of just here to soak up some hits and like get some priority bullet punches and maybe get a knockoff. Primarina is going to be a pretty generic Primarina set. Icy Wind is just to help with some speed matchups. Just because my slow Pokemon are slow. My fast Pokemon, like Dragapult Diggersby outspeeds everything, but Mega Gomora, max speed Mega Gomora just barely underspeeds Floette by 1 point. And I need the speed in it to outspeed some other things on his team. So Icy Wind can help mitigate like the Floette being outspeeding Mega Gomora. If it's max speed Floette, I don't see it being max speed Floette, but yeah. Otherwise, like this is like pretty generic setup from Primarina. And then we have the Glamora, Sludge Wave, Spiky Shield, Sludge Bomb, Power Gem. Sludge Bomb, Power Gem, and Spiky Shield are pretty generic on Glamora at this point. I was considering running a screen on this, whether it be light screen or reflect. I decided against it. I decided just to run Sludge Wave. Pretty much everything on my team has Protect, and if this gets set up next to if this gets sent out next to the Scizor, then I can hit Sludge Wave pretty freely. So otherwise, this feels pretty good. This guy's got like 3 really good Pokemon, so we'll see how good we end up doing. But yeah. Okay, so Mike was still having issues with this week's recording, so we are just gonna talk over the replay. So, my opponent did not bring Mousehold like I thought he was going to, which is very good for me. Him not having the redirect is very, very good. That was going to be like the biggest issue for dealing with this Floette. So I'm thinking, okay, let's just go with the game plan of leading my Dragapult and my Conkeldurr. And then let's bring the Glamora, and I'm thinking that Diggersby will be a pretty good pick here. Yeah, I'm thinking that he's gonna lead Incineroar Floette. That's definitely his scariest lead. There's also a chance that he leads that Incineroar and Mimikyu and goes for Trick Room. So yeah, I don't know what the Belly Bolt's quite doing at this point, and the Chroma-O is interesting, and I don't know if I'm actually gonna bring it or not, as my Primarina kind of shuts it down pretty hard. So he sends out Floette and Incineroar, which, like I said, was the expected lead here. I got my Dragapult and Conkeldurr. So I'm thinking Incineroar's probably going to go for a Fake Out onto Conkeldurr, and Floette's going to go for some type of Fairy move on somebody. So I'm like, let's just Light Screen and let's protect my Conkeldurr. That gets my Light Screen up, which I very desperately need. And that will protect me from taking unnecessary damage. Elder. And we do not see a fake out coming out from Incineroar, which is a little concerning. And he goes for Dazzling Gleam, which I'm pretty PO'd about because that means he like just didn't do his homework in terms of understanding what my Conkeldurr could have had. Because I brought Conkeldurr partially to fake having Wide Guard. So, pretty annoying that that happened. Like, okay. I sent in Glamora. I'm feeling pretty good here. Once again, if this float is max speed, which don't know yet, if it's max speed, then it will outspeed my Glamora by 1. So I'm trying to think about what I want to do here. I'm concerned about this Incineroar switching out and coming back in. And I'm assuming the Floette's going to go for some type of Protect of some sort. So I'm afraid that Incineroar is going to swap. I'm afraid that Protect from Floette, because Incineroar could have Ground move, if I remember correctly. So I'm just like, let's go and kill the Incineroar. And Floette shows Psychic, which does not kill Glamora due to the light screen. So that's interesting. I'm gonna go for the Power Gem on Incineroar, and it's going to kill. That would have killed no matter what. That's that defense Incineroar. So I have Diggersby out. Diggersby will one-shot the Floette because now we know that it's max speed Floette. The only way Floette could have lived at an attack from Diggersby is if it was max HP, max defense, bold. Even then, it potentially dies anyways. So I'm feeling pretty good right now. Trying to think of what he could potentially have on the back here. But I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot. He sends out Belly Ball, which is very interesting considering that there's a Diggersby right in front of you. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna Sludge Bomb your Belly Ball, and I'm gonna considering some other. But I'm pretty sure I want to Sludge Bomb. I think I was potentially considering the Spiky Shield, but I was mostly caught off guard at this point by the Belly Bolt, trying to figure out what it was gonna do. So, go for the Gunk Shot. He protects. Mora's gonna get a good chunk of damage on the Belly Bolt. Did it 65%. It does have a Citrus Berry, so I'm thinking, okay, I'm still gonna kill with another Sludge Bomb. And then it goes for Eerie Impulse. Now that's interesting and somewhat irrelevant. I'm partially thinking, like, do I want to swap this Glamora out to reset its stats? But I'm kind of like, I don't think it matters. I don't really think Belly Bolt's going to do too much to me. And my Diggersby will one-shot the Floette. I don't want to bring my Conkeldurr in on a Psychic because that's gonna do some good damage, and my Conkeldurr will not live Psychic plus. Very good. There's always a chance that Gunk Shot missed. So I'm still gonna had to be careful about it. Belly Ball goes for the T-Vault, and it does kill my Glamora, which I'm a little surprised about. But I guess that's just charged. Oh. Either way, though, I'm feeling pretty good. It just depends on what his last Pokemon is here. So, Diggersby is locked into Gunk Shot, which is not like a huge deal. Sends out Como, which is interesting. I'm just like, okay. Let me just target down the Como. I don't think it has enough damage to kill Diggersby and Elder. And Diggersby is obviously going to outspeed the Como. And I consider a Belly Bolt kind of a dead Pokemon here. I don't really know what it could do to my team that would be significant. So Diggersby hits the Gunk Shot, deals 42%, just under half, so I was like, oh, that kind of sucks, let's see how much Conkeldurr does, but then it used AoE Dragon Scales work. So it lowered its defense, which is great for me because now my Conkeldurr will kill this. So I'm gonna kill that, and at this point I don't think they have a way to win, and they are going to forfeit. So I'm like, okay, I killed the Floette, I beat the strongest Mega Pokemon in the game. And I'm thinking about next game now. I'm thinking, what are they gonna do? Like, are they going to bring the Kangaskhan this time? And I'm trying to think about, once again, like, what's the scariest leads that they could have. But I'm thinking, like, Kangaskhan, Mimikyu would be a little annoying. It's not like the worst thing in the world, though. Either way, no matter what they really do, I'm still pretty happy leading Dragapult and Conkeldurr. So if they want to, once again, if they lead with Floette, then I can just Light Screen, and if they lead with a physical attacker, then I can just set up Will-O-Wisp on it. So I'm just like, I'm just gonna run the same Pokemon. Incineroar is too big of a threat for my Scizor, and I don't see myself getting a ton of value out of Primarina that, like, I couldn't get out of Diggersby. Primarina, like, could die to, like, Hammer you. So, just like, I'd just rather bring Diggersby. Diggersby is gonna outspeed everything. The only thing we gotta worry about is Trick Room. That's the only thing that we got to worry about is Trick Room. So he's gonna send out Kangaskhan and Incineroar. Thinking, okay. Last time he didn't protect, or last time he didn't go for Fake Out with Incineroar. So I'm wondering if he even has Fake Out and if it's just like a bluff. But I'm like, okay. I'm sitting here thinking, well, your Incineroar can't fake me out, and neither can your Kangaskhan. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna go and attack your Kangaskhan. I'm gonna Will-O-Wisp it, and I'm going to Drain Punch it. The only way like this play goes bad is if you protect. And then I get hit by a Fake Out, and I'm like, all right, Kangaskhan gets scrappy. So he does get around my Ghost typing and does knock out my Dragapult, which good on him. However, I get to chunk Kangaskhan for a ton of damage, and that was through an Intimidate. I'm sitting here thinking, like, I don't even know if this is Mega Kangaskhan or not. And if it's not, then I have to be really worried, and I have to be able to position my Diggersby in to deal with the Floette. Like, Diggersby has to deal with Floette. That's my only way of dealing with Floette right now. And I'm like, okay, if this Kangaskhan's not Mega at all, then we're in trouble. So I'm trying to think about a way around that. Now, they're going to double swap, and they're going to send out their Como and their Mimikyu. So this kind of tells me that Kangaskhan is most likely a Mega, which what I considered it was anyways. But, yeah, he is going to nullify a lot of my move turn. So Power Gen's not going to be very effective. It's not going to do too much into the Como. However, Sludge Bomb I think would have killed here, but I think it's a roll with the leftover. So trying to think about, like, what do I want to do here? I really want to break Mimikyu, Disguise. I'm really afraid of Trick Room going up here. Trick Room, Conkeldurr would be very, very good in the Trick Room, and that's also, like, another reason having Conkeldurr out here is very good. It's my slowest Pokemon by far, and it's arguably, like, my weakest Pokemon. However, against Trick Room teams, having this really slow Pokemon is very good, especially because it hits pretty hard. So I'm like, okay, let's protect the Conkeldurr. Let's go for a Sludge Wave. Sludge Wave won't kill Kommo-o, but I might be able to do enough damage with it where Mach Punch can pick up a kill. And I want to break that Disguise. So that Kommo-o is going to go for Protect. So I'm thinking, okay, here comes the Trick Room. Another thing with the Kommo-o, I want to make sure that it gets low enough so that it can't, Hanging Scales or Fame Skull Soul ever hits boost. Forget it. But I want to make sure it can't get a boost. Mimikyu goes for a Play Rough onto Conkeldurr. Now, that's not going to do a ton of damage to Conkeldurr, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'm trying to sit here and think, like, okay, what do I want to do to deal with this? I really just want to make sure Kommo-o gets hit hard enough here. And this Mimikyu, if it wants to go for a Play Rough again on my Conkeldurr, I'm not too worried. Conkeldurr's already done a very good job here, and my Glimmor's going to outspeed everything. So as long as Mimikyu doesn't set up a Trick Room, then I'm going to be looking pretty good. He is going to swap out Mimikyu for Incineroar, so that Intimidate's going to hurt Conkeldurr again. I got to consider swapping it out now. Splash Bomb does not kill, unfortunately, and Kommo-o goes for a Flamethrower. I really don't know what he was thinking there with Flamethrower. Maybe he thought I had Scizor in the back and I was gonna send out Scizor. Not sure. Maybe he was fishing for a burn, thinking maybe he figured out I was Iron Fist and not Guts. I don't know. I don't know what he was thinking there exactly. But he was going for some type of read that did not work. So now I'm like, okay, Incineroar's probably gonna go for a Fake Out. Let's just double protect and go from there. I'm not really threatened by like anything they can do. If they want to swap around, then it's a little annoying, but I do have the option of just like double targeting the Kommo-o, and Conkeldurr probably could do enough damage to kill it, even with 2. I mean, if he wanted to call my double protect, he could have swapped in Kangaskhan, and then he would have had another out again. But at that point, you're risking, especially if you don't have like ground coverage to kill this, which might not. No. So I'm gonna go for Power Gem into the Incineroar, and I really want to reset the Conkeldurr's stats here. I don't feel threatened right now by anything. So, like, there's not much that they can really do at this point. I don't even know if this guy has effect on anything. He's gonna send out Kangaskhan, and I'm gonna just do a double swap, which I'm fine with. So, like, the only thing that I'm want to play around is, like, potentially Kangaskhan Fake Out and then using Trick Room. Like, that's my biggest concern right now. But I'm thinking if he had Trick Room, he probably would have clicked it earlier. Like, I don't know why he didn't click it earlier when he had the opportunity to. So, I'm thinking, let's just go for Sludge Wave. Let's just get damage on everything. Because Sludge Wave will knock out Kangaskhan and the Mimikyu. So, even if he wants to go for Fake Out into, I don't know, like a or something into it. Like, it wasn't something like. He isn't going to use Fake Out though, and he's going to go down because of it. So now he's in a pretty awkward spot. So once again, there's an Incineroar out that can use Fake Out, so I'm just going to double protect. I have no reason not to just sit here and double protect. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good here. Everything's on low HP on their side. I have Glamora that can use Sludge Wave, and I have Diggersby that can use Earthquake. So I'm feeling very, very good here. So here, I'm contemplating, like, do I just Sludge Bomb the Como, and then Mach Punch the Incineroar? I'm thinking, like, if Incineroar has Chople Berry, Mach Punch might not kill. And I know my Glamora can just clean up everything already, so I was just like, let's just go for a double protect, let's use Sludge Wave. Like, it doesn't really matter too much at this point. I've got so much momentum going in my favor that there's no way I can really lose right now. And yeah, that's gonna pick up the 2 KOs and he's gonna fork. So I am 2-1.